Hare Krishna. So just out of compassion, because I would, like I said, I didn't have any lust, and I wanted to, maintain my celibacy. But just out of compassion, I said, well, let me just, give this girl a little thrill, So kind of put my arm around her, and then we started kissing and everything. So then I'm kissing this girl, and I'm thinking, and I'm experiencing, wow, this is ecstatic, I'm going, wow. And I go, wow, what have I been missing for 9 years? So that was it, So there goes all, it's just like the story in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The guy's practicing underwater 60,000 years. He's meditating underwater. Then he sees some fish copulating, and he kind of goes crazy. Well, I mean, I didn't go crazy, but it completely changed my conscience. Just one time, just kissing this girl one time, it completely changed my conscience. Like from going like, oh, I don't want to have anything to do with this, these females, and to like, oh, what have I been missing for 9 years? So I said, we had some close relationships, and we're even possibly thinking about, staying together. And but then eventually that didn't work out. And then the big step was after we kind of separated, I drove to this health food restaurant, which I like going. There was this Hare Krishna lady. Oh, and another thing.
Hawaii?
Yeah. This is in Hawaii, on the Big Island. This is a place called Waimea. It's on the south. The Big Island is like two mountains. Mauna Kea on the south. No, Mauna Kea on the north. 13,795 feet coming right out of the ocean. So it's really spectacular. And then on the other, the lower half, the southern half is Mauna Loa, which was over 13,000 feet also. 690, something like that. So in between there's what's called the saddle. So in this saddle there was this town called Waimea, and there was this health food store there. And cooking on Saturdays, there was this Hare Krishna girl. So the two of them, when we were traveling together the first time, when we got to that place, the girl that was cooking, she invited us to come to a Sunday feast. But I had some lectures on the other side of the island, on the Hilo side. And so I said, well, we can't do it now, but when I come back, I'll definitely come. So I ended up staying over there 2 months. We separated while we were over there, and then I ended up staying there with one of my friends he invited me to stay there and give some courses while his mother was in Las Vegas visiting their children. So anyway, after that, then I came back. And then the first thing I did on Saturday night, I stayed at Hapuna Beach. Then Sunday morning, I went to the restaurant. No, it was Friday night I stayed there. And Saturday, I went there because she cooked on Saturday. And I was on the same program as the devotees, pure vegetarian, no meat, no fish, no eggs, and no onions and garlic. So, and you can hardly find that anywhere. If you even any vegetarian or vegan restaurant you go to, it's always onions and garlic. But she cooked without onions and garlic. So I would like to go there on Saturday. So I went there, and I said, Gaia, I want to go to that program you told me about tomorrow, which is Sunday. And can you please draw me a map? Because it wasn't like nowadays you just type it in the phone, the address, and get GPS takes you right there. You have to have a map. So she drew me a map, simple map, and so the next day I got up and drove, to that place. It was on the north face of Mauna Kea, coming up like this, facing north, and you could see the island of Maui in the distance. A beautiful place, nice part. And the landmark was a barn at the beginning of the property, which had a tilak painted on the front of it. The whole front of the barn with like a big key-lock mark, you know. So I got there, and then I walked in, and then there was 2 doors, and I was thinking, I had a feeling I should go on the door on the right, but then my mind said, no, go on the door on the left. So I go in the door on the left, and it must have been the door to the altar. So I got one door led to the temple, so I went this door, and everybody's facing me. You know, they're chanting Hare Krishna, and they're all facing me. So yeah, I didn't realize it at the time because I didn't know anything about Jesus. Must have been on the altar because we were up above. They were like down below. So I immediately, I just kind of quickly just jumped off the platform and just sat down and closed my eyes, and just kind of meditated on the mantra, which was good because I was a little bit embarrassed. So I closed my eyes and so I'm meditating on the mantra. So I'm hearing it really clearly, just meditating. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. So I was really enjoying it, and so we had a real ecstatic kirtan. But I was, meditating the whole time. I don't know if there was anybody down. I didn't notice because I just immediately just kind of closed my eyes and just started meditating on the mantra. And so then after we chanted for a while, then they served the feast. Gaia cooked the feast, the one that cooked at the restaurant. So it was really good, prasadam. And then after we took prasadam, then they pulled out the drum set and the keyboards and electric guitars, and they started playing like rock, soft rock music, but singing Hare Krishna to it. I said, wow, this is great. There's a guy on the drum set, and I used to play drums when I was like in junior high or high school. And so after a while, the drummer left. So I said, well, I'll get on the drums. So I got on the drums, I'm beating on the drums, having a really great time, singing Hare Krishna and playing the drums. And I said, wow, these people really know how to party, but they don't use alcohol or drugs. They party without alcohol and drugs. And it's even a better party. What could be better than this? Glorifying God and feeling ecstatic, singing and dancing. So I said, yeah, this is great. And so then I went back the next week, had a really good time, the same thing. And then I don't know exactly when the time, but sometime probably after the first time I went to the temple, I went back to that health food restaurant, and I met the owner. And the owner was this beautiful, like, Spanish lady from Spain. Yes, it's obviously right. From Spain. And so, we just kind of hit it off right away, And she said, yeah, we have these flights to special to Fiji. She had like a poster up in the back, special flights to Fiji, something like $3.99 round trip to Fiji. And I had some Lakshmi at that time. And so she said, yeah, I'm going to go there for 2 weeks. And I said, yeah, when? And so she said, when? I said, yeah, I'll come too. So I kind of like booked my flight around the same time because, I wanted to go there to spend some time with her in Fiji. And then, how you get excited about something at a certain moment and then, later on you think, well, should I go or should I not go? And so I was kind of like in that mood. And then I called one person to ask him if he wanted to take this meditation course that I was trying to organize. And then, and he said, well, I can't, I used to be in the Peace Corps in Fiji, and I'm going to go back there and see some of my friends from there. And I said, you're going to Fiji? And so that was like kind of a reinforcement. Yeah, Fiji, you should go to Fiji, And then there was one other thing, I can't remember it right offhand, but there's another thing that kind of like indicated that, yeah, go to Fiji. And so 3 things. I said, okay, I'm definitely going. So I'm definitely going to Fiji. So I get there, and then I'm sitting on the plane. It's on a Saturday night, and I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to miss the Sunday feast. Well, I was bummed out. I'm ready to fly to Fiji. Beautiful place. I didn't know anything about it really, but got off on another adventure. But I'm sitting there, I'm regretting I wasn't going to be going to the Sunday feast because I liked it so much. I was going to miss it. I said, oh, well, I hope there's somewhere in Fiji like this. So so when I get there, then we fly to Nandi, and then I met someone there who lived in Nandi, and he had some kind of thing where he would sell things at festivals. And there was a festival in Missouri, which was on the other side of the island near the capital, Suva, which was a place where I wanted to go because I had some phone number for someone that this person that I had talked to that was in the Peace Corps previously. So he had given me some contacts in Suva, so I wanted to make contact with them, see if they were interested in learning meditation. And so I went with this guy to this festival in Missouri. So I'm sitting there, I'm eating a pineapple, and he says, hey, I heard that you're a meditation teacher. And I said, yeah. He said, yeah, me and my family want to learn meditation. I said, sure, no problem. He said, oh yeah, come and meet my family. So I went and I met his family, and they invited me to come to their place and teach them meditation. So after the festival's over, I went there. He came and picked me up in the other place where I was staying, and went to their house. And then, so I was staying with them, and then one day I was coming back on the bus, and I looked out, and I saw this sign that said, International Society for Kṛṣṇa Consciousness. Founder Acharya's Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakta Avatar Dās. I said, wow, there must be a temple in this area. So I looked, I didn't see any temple. All I saw was some store there. And then, so when I got back, I asked, one of the young ladies at the house if, there was a temple in that area that I saw that sign. It was only about a mile from where we were living. And she said, yeah, And I said, oh, do they have programs on Sundays where they, chant and, have a feast and everything? She said, yes. And I said, yeah, let's go this Sunday. She goes, yeah, I want to do that. But then that same day, could have been the next day, but either no later than that, a devotee came to pick flowers right near their property, and so she told her brother to go bring that guy, and that he had someone that he wanted him to meet. So she went and called me, and he went and called the other guy. So I went there, and this devotee, he was, had shaved head and everything, and so he invited us to come that night to the temple. This was on a Tuesday night. So we, went to the temple.
Suva.
Yeah, that was the temple for the Suva area. It was called 7 miles in Niceno. It was kind of outside, and we were living 8 miles in Niceno, and which was kind of about 2/3 of the way from Suva to Missouri. And so he invited us to come to the temple, so we went there. The girl, and she was practicing Christian consciousness, and we were she was do her puja, and I would sing Hare Kṛṣṇa, and we would both sing Hare Kṛṣṇa, but we were both. She would do the arati, and I would sing Hare Kṛṣṇa. So we were doing that every morning and evening together, but then. Now we had the temple to go. So then we took her little sister, youngest sister, and went to the temple. So we walk in this the pujari. He was the pujari, main pujari. And so he like paid full dhanyavad. And I guess, the other people too. So I said, oh, that must be what you have to do. So I looked at this beautiful picture of Radha Krishna, that one with Radha, she's wearing a red sari, and Krishna kind of has his arm around her. Beautiful, big picture. So I looked at that picture and I just paid full obeisances to that picture, with all my heart. And I just experienced this unbounded consciousness. I went, wow, this is powerful, And as soon as we walked in the temple, there was a CD playing of the Hare Krishna chant. It was the Radha Krishna temple album. And so we go and go to where the altar was. And they had small deities there, so we just sang along with the tape, the CD or whatever it was, and singing Hare Krishna. Had a really good time. And then after that we took prasadam. So I said, wow, this is great. So we went back the next day, and then 4 days in a row, we're going. We continued going every evening. But then we're taking prasadam, and the temple president says, Bhakta Bill, if you really want to experience the full value of Krishna consciousness, you have to come to the morning program. And he said, that